Hey everyone, Kelly Dean Allen here with you again. Today, going to show you how to play Circumstances by Alex Lifeson and Rush. Track 1, Side 2 from their 1978 album, Hemispheres. Now, this is certainly one of the band's more straightforward tracks, and maybe a sign of where the band was heading musically going forward into the 80s. Opening riff, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, done. By Rush's standards, a very basic and straightforward track, but excellent and classic nonetheless. Now, Rush being Rush, it of course still has its complexities, most notably the number of chords and quick chord changes throughout this track. It'll keep you on your toes getting through it for sure. Hardly a moment to rest before another chord change comes at you pretty darn quick. Always been one of my favorite Rush tracks. Let's close in here a little bit, have a look at how it's played, shall we? Alright then, Alex Lifeson, Rush, and Circumstances from Hemispheres. We are in standard tuning for this tutorial. The opening riff to this one goes a little something like this. We're going to continue that with variations as we go along. So we're starting 3 of the A string off to 2 of the A up to 3 of the low E. Now we're going to be using this a lot throughout this track. That right there, 3, 2, 3. I'm going to call that 3, 2, 3 going forward through this tutorial. So every time I say 3, 2, 3, it's that right there. 3, 2 of the A up to 3 of the low E. So you're going to drop right into an A power chord after you do that 3, 2, 3 at the very beginning of the track. You're going to hit an A power chord, choke it off, and then you're going to ride on the open A string 4 times. Kind of like that, right? Then you're going to go 3, 2, 3 again. And you're going to drop into a B minor chord, but just on the D, G, and B string. So 4, 4, and 3, right, of the B. And you're going to hit that along with the open A. And then you're going to back it up to an A minor. And then you're going to ride the open A 5 times, the second time. So the first time you ride that open A 4 times, the next time you ride it 5 times. We are never going to play the riff again throughout this track the same way, right? And then we're going to drop into 3 G chords, all 6 strings, going to hit it 3 times, and then drop into D. And repeat. Right, and then the full band comes in, and we're going to play kind of the same riff, but with variations, right? And then we're going to go 3, 2, 3 again. And we're going to drop right into an A minor chord. We're not going to ride that open A like we did at the beginning, right? We're going to stab this twice with a couple of palm muted open A's in between the 2 stabs of that A minor. Right? And then we're going to go 3, 2, 3 again. And then you're going to grab that B minor here at the 4th fret position, right? And then back to A minor. And hit it twice, and then 3, 2, 3 again, back off to A. And then 3, 2, 3. And coming off that 3rd fret of the low E, that 3, right? 3, 2, 3. You're going to grab 3 G's again. And repeat that G to D twice, right? So that is the main riff after the intro riff. point. Verse, a lot of chords going on here. Going to play through it first up to the chorus, and then we'll dig into how to play it. Leads into the chorus. So we're starting with a B sus2, full bar on the 2nd fret of the top 5 strings with your index, ring and pinky on the 4s of the D and the G. B sus2, and this is the strumming pattern we're going to be using all throughout the verses, kind of down, down, up, up, down. Kind of like that, right? And then you're going to drop into a G major, full G major bar chord, right? And then we're going to drop into D. And we're going to go D to A, D to A to D. Kind of like that. Right? It's all very quick little shifts here from D to A to D to A to D. And then off to F sharp, full major bar chord. And you're going to hit that 4 or 5 times all on the downstroke. Right? And that's the first half of the verse. B sus2, G major, D, A, D, A, D, bum, 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 right? And then the second half of the verse, pretty much the same thing, but a little variation. B sus2, G major, D, A, D, A. We're not going to go back to D again the third time. We're going to go D to A, D to A, and slide out of that A off to the F sharp. And then hit that 3 or 4 times on the downstroke, right? And that's the verse. So let's recap that. B sus2, G major, D, A, D, A, D, F sharp. B sus2, G, F sharp, right? Then we're going to move that F sharp into G sharp for the pre-chorus. Sorry, G, not G sharp. So we're just going to take that F sharp bar chord, move it up 1 spot to G. Back into B sus2. Move it into C sus2, right? Exact same chord shape, just move it up 1 spot. So backing up to the G to start the pre-chorus. B sus2, move it up into A major, right? Full A major bar chord. Right, and then we're going to go down to D. Now we're kind of just playing on the A, D, and G string here. So you can use like a 3-finger D power chord, and we're going to move this chromatically into E. But when we move into E flat, we're going to grab this dissonant chord here. I don't know what it's called. It's an E flat chord. I'm going to call it E flat augmented. It's a 6, 7, 8 of the A, D, and G. So from the D into that, what I'm going to call E flat augmented, right? And then just into a regular E 3-finger power chord. Right, and then we're into that long lick, that long lick that Alex plays leading into the chorus. But let's recap that pre-chorus. G major, B sus2, C sus2, A major, D, E flat augmented, E, and Leading into that lick, we're going to grab a quick C power chord into a G power chord, right? And then the lick. Into the chorus. So this lick, I'm going to break it up into 3 separate sections. That's the first section. So we're on the 5th fret of the low E down to 7 of the D, the octave, and then 5, 7 of the A, 5 off to 4 of the D, and then 5 off to 3 of the A. Right? That's the first third of the lick. Into this. So 5 of the D off to 2 of the D, and then 3 onto 5 of the A off to 2, up to 3 of the low E. And then we finish with this. So we're going to grab a F note here at the 1st fret of the low E, and then we're going to do the 3, 2, 3 again. Right into A minor to start the chorus. So that is the lick. Putting it all together nice and slow. Into the chorus, right? So from the pre-chorus, B sus2, C sus2, A major, D, E flat augmented, E, C, G, A minor, right? So coming out of that lick, we're going to drop into A minor, stab it twice, 3, 2, 3 again, and then into B minor off to A minor, right? And we're only going to hit that A minor once this time, and then we're going to drop into 3 Gs off to D, right? So coming out of the lick, and now we're going to add a chord to this during the chorus. We're going to add C add 9. So it's a C chord with the 3rd fret of the B string. And we're only striking the 4 middle strings. And we're going to stab this like 4 times. Kind of like that. Very staccato. Ba, 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 da. And then into a G. And when you strike this G, you're really just hitting the top 4 strings or so, right? Ba, 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 da. Kind of like that. So up to that point, coming out of the lick, right? Ba, 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 da, G. And then 3, 2, 3 again, back off to A minor. And then again, 3, 2, 3, B minor off to A minor. And then G again 3 times. And then we're going to drop into that C add 9, but this time we're just going to let it ring. And then coming out of this C add 9, we're just going to go 2 off to open to the A onto 3 of the low E, back into A minor. With a double stab, right? And then B minor off to A minor, and to finish the chorus, 3 Gs to D twice. Right? A lot of very, very quick chord changes going on here. So let's recap that chorus nice and slow, coming out of the lick. And C add 9, ba, 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 da, G. C add 9, let it ring. And then repeat that twice. And then we're into the next verse. And the second verse and second chorus are exactly the same as the first. But for the purpose of this tutorial, let's recap the entire verse, pre-chorus, chorus. B sus2, G major, D, A, D, A, D, F sharp, B sus2, G, D, A, D, A, F sharp, G, B sus2, C sus2, A major, D, and then we're into the bridge. We're into this. And we're going to be repeating that 5 times. So we're holding a 3-finger C power chord basically here at the 8th fret positions, 8, 10, 10 with the open G string, right? So you're going to go down the bottom 4 strings, back up to the D string. Right, and then we're going to take that shape, move it up 2 spots, and do this. So we're going to go down the bottom 4 strings again. And then you're going to kind of double time another D to G, right? Kind of like that. Then you're going to go back to C. This time you're only going to go down to the D, back to the A. And then move it into D, a 3-finger D power chord at the 10th fret position, and then move it into E at the 12th fret position. Right? And we're going to repeat that 5 times. And after you repeat it 5 times, we drop off to A major with this. Repeated twice. So A major shape here, but with the open B string. We're going to go down the bottom 3 strings and then skip over the G string. And then catch the open B and then the G string on the way back up. Right? And then move that exact shape up 2 spots and do this. So we're going to go down the bottom 4 strings and kind of double time D to G twice, right? Right, and repeat. And then back into C to D again, exact same thing we were playing earlier. And then back to A major. Twice. Back into C. Twice, we're going to do the C to D to A again. Right, and then back to it 1 final time. And then C to D to E. And that leads back into the riff that leads into the chorus, right? That right there. So let's just recap that. 5 times of this. And then off to A. Back to this again. Back to A. Back to this. And then C to D to E. Right, 1 more time of this. Time of that, right? Back into the lick. Final chorus. Ba, 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 G. See that 9-letter ring? Right at the end of the track. G, 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 D, G, 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 D. Right? And there you go. That, my friends, is how you play Circumstances by Rush from Hemispheres. Certainly hope you enjoyed that, found it helpful. If you did, please hit that like button right down there. Maybe drop me a subscribe if you haven't done that already, as that would be very kind. Hope you're well out there in your little guitar corner of the world, wherever that may find you, and we will see you next time. Cheers.